Alright guys, we're going to talk about my favorite tactic to put damage on knights. I call this the Sneaky Pete. So the way the Sneaky Pete works is knights, their shield only covers one facing. So like I said, to get the facing of the knight, you basically draw an invisible X through there. Before the game begins, definitely talk to your opponent and make sure you come to an understanding where he feels the facings are at and where you feel. There's a diagram in the new Knight FAQ. You don't even have to really accept that the FAQ is official to go off that. That's more of a clarification than it is like changing anything. It's really how it should have been from the get-go. It just shows a clear drawing of where the facings are. So wherever you determine there are, it doesn't really matter for this scenario. But we'll just say we're drawing an X through the shoulder pads from corner here to corner here. So you draw that invisible line out like that. Anything inside that's front arc, anything the side of it side arc. This thing can only protect one arc at a time with its 4-up save. So what you do, it works the best on vehicles or units disembarking out of something. We'll use this, the Sicaran's a perfect example of why this is good. So, as you can see, right now the Sicaran is fully within the front arc of the knight, but it's barely skirting the side arc. So what you want to do is wherever that line's at, you move your Sicaran the 6 inches so that this line coming off this knight for its facings perfectly divides the tank. So now you have one sponson weapon in one arc, one sponson weapon in the other arc, and the turret with the 2 barrels are divided. So why this is good is when you look at the shooting with vehicle rules and armor facing and all that. So weapons and line of sight on page 74 state that when you fire weapons and they're giving different cover saves, like say there was a shrub here and not one here, you basically treat each weapon on a vehicle as its own individual unit, and each weapon will give its own cover saves and whatever. So what this means is if one's in one arc and one's in the other, you actually treat them as if they're separate units even though they're on the same vehicle. So you'll have to roll separate and everything else. Well, why this is good is this guy can only protect one side. So you put the vehicle here, he declares side arc. Well, now you're going to have one las cannon in the front arc, so he's not going to get a shield save, and one in the side arc, which you're going to be 50-50. Now the really sneaky thing is, it states when firing a weapon on a vehicle, you draw line of sight from the weapon's housing down its length of its barrel. Well, this Sicaran has 2 barrels because it represents twin linked. So if you divided it, it's basically player's choice as to which barrel you choose to fire from. So you always just choose to draw line of sight from the barrel that's in the arc that he hasn't declared a shield on. So the other cool thing about this, you've seen I had to shift 6 inches over here to basically fire all my weapons at full ballistic skill. Well, let's say I wanted to get further away and I wanted to move at 12 where I get in the same line. You want to be in the same line, but I want to put more distance. So now I move 12 inches. This is a fast vehicle, so it can fire one weapon at full ballistic skill, or sorry, 2 weapons at full ballistic skill, and it has to snap fire the others. So what you do is after he declares his shield facing, let's say he declares front, you choose to snap fire the weapon that's on the shield side and fire the ones that aren't in the shield side at full ballistic skill. So you have the option to choose which that is after he's already declared his shield. So if you think about it, if you have multiple units on the board and they're all using this Sneaky Pete ability, so if you had a unit in a Rhino, you can disembark out of the Rhino. Say you had a 10-man vet squad with 2 melt-a-guns in it. You put 1 melt-a-gun in one arc, 1 melt-a-gun in the other. So he has to declare which side to protect the shield, and you're always going to have 1 melt-a-gun that's not in that shield arc. Now you need to make sure you roll them separate, declare I'm firing this melt-a-gun, roll the dice so everything's on the up and up. This tactic works great. It works with flyers. You can imagine a lightning strike fighter coming in. You split the 2 different facings with it. Say he declares he's going to protect the side armor. You fire the Kraken penetrators in the front arc so he doesn't get a shield. Maybe you save the other 2 for later so you're not risking him rolling shield saves against it. It's got the twin link las cannon on the front that's split just like this. You choose the barrel that's not in the arc that he's protecting. Works great. This is a way to negate that 4-up shield save on a knight, which will allow you to drop them much quicker.